Hi, this is Shay with the Learning Project. Thank you for clicking on and welcome back. And today I wanted to talk with you all about something that's really important, and that is classroom management. So as the teacher or as the instructor or the adult, it is our responsibility to be able to keep our students or our children engaged in their lessons and paying attention. Now, I am a kindergarten teacher, which is an early education teacher, and just like other teachers of other grade levels, it's equally important for me to be able to keep my students focused and engaged in learning. If a student is not focused, a student is not learning. So now as instructors, we know that students can feed off of other students' behavior, whether those behaviors are negative or whether or not they're positive. Students feed off of each other. So when you have students that are being disruptive, it's easy for other students to join in and be disruptive as well. And those types of negative or disruptive behaviors can be small or they can be large. They can range from anything from noises, students yelling out, students not staying seated, students sitting on the floor, students rolling on the floor, and it can escalate to anything such as students throwing things as pencils, crayons, books, yes, even chairs and desks. As teachers and as instructors, these are behaviors that we often encounter in our classrooms from day to day. So I wanted to share with you some classroom management tips that I use in my classroom to promote positive behavior and to help lessen or mitigate those types of behaviors that we don't want students to exhibit. So these are 5 things that you can use in your classroom to help with your classroom management and to help promote a positive atmosphere where students are learning and students are engaged. Now, the first tip that I wanted to share with you is student seating. Now, in my classroom, I assign my students a seat. They sit in that seat every single day. I do know that in other classrooms, maybe in higher grade levels, you may not assign seats to your students, but typically in elementary school, students will have assigned seats. And what I find is that if I have students, 2 students or 3 students that may be seated next to each other, if they're not getting along, or if they are distracting one another, or if they're playing, or if I see some type of unwanted behavior that's occurring between those students, I immediately change their seats. And I actually have some students that prefer to work by themselves. They actually enjoy not having a student or another person to sit next to them. And so those students may need just a little bit more elbow room or room to kind of spread out. And so those students I will allow to sit by themselves. But overall, if I find that students are distracting each other or students are playing and they are causing other students to not stay focused, or be it that they themselves are not focused because they're being distracted with other students, then I will go ahead and change their. My second tip that I wanted to share is called a pattern interrupt. So if I find that my students are being a little bit too chatty, if they are not focused and I need to redirect them, then I'll introduce a pattern interrupt. Now, a pattern interrupt typically is something that I introduce at the beginning of the school year and we practice and we rehearse. A pattern interrupt can be something as simple as this. I say something, then the students have to reply back to me, and that kind of gets their focus and their attention back on me. For instance, I may say, 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me, and then they will say, 1, 2, all eyes on you as they point to me. Also, I may say, clap once if you hear me, and they clap. And that may say, clap 2 times if you hear me, and they'll clap 2 times. And that'll interrupt them from whatever the unwanted behavior that they were engaged in. That'll stop them from doing that behavior, and then they will be able to focus their attention back on me. Also, another pattern interrupt that I use is a countdown from 10. So I'll actually start to count down from 10, and I'll start saying 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and as I'm counting down, I'm looking around to see what students are doing. Typically, students will stop with whatever the unwanted behavior is, and if they're standing, they may go ahead and have a seat. If they're talking, they'll stop talking, but they know that by the time I get to 0, they need to have their attention on me, and they need to stop whatever they're doing, and they need to make sure that they're quiet and they're ready to work. So I'll count down from 10 to 0, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 0. And then I also say blast off. Also, I'll use a thumbs up to see if students are ready. And I just simply say, students, are you ready? If you're ready, give me a thumbs up. And they'll stop what they're doing and then they'll give me a thumbs up. And then if there are students who have not given me a thumbs up, then I'll just go ahead and call them by name and say, Sally, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up. And then Sally will stop what she's doing and she'll look at me and she'll give me a thumbs up. My third tip is a behavior chart. Now, a behavior chart is a great way for students to actually to visualize and see their behavior. Now, the behavior chart that I use in my classroom has different colors. So students will start off on green, and if their behavior is repetitive and if their behavior does not improve and they keep engaging in that negative behavior, then their color will turn to yellow, then orange, and then red. Now, every student starts off on green at the beginning of the day, and if the negative behavior is repetitive, their color will change to yellow, then it will change to orange, and then it will change to red. Now, if a student's color changes to yellow, orange, or red, I will tell them the exact behavior that they're engaging in that has caused their color to change. And then I will tell them the behavior that they need to engage in or the behavior that needs to stop in order for their color to change back towards green. This way, students know exactly what it is they're doing that is causing them to have their color change, and then they also know the exact behavior that they need to engage in order for the behavior to move or the color to move back towards green. So now there are consequences when the students' colors change from green to yellow to orange or to red. Now, it's important for there to be some type of consequence. In my classroom, the consequences are if a student has a student job and their color is not on green, then for the length of time that their color is not on green, then they will not be able to perform their student job. Also, if I'm giving out a snack or a treat or a sticker, some type of reward, and if their color is not on green, then they will not be able to receive that reward. So I also give consequences for if a student's behavior is not poor, if it's poor, or if the student is not engaging in positive behavior, then their color changes. They actually visually see it. They know the behavior that needs to change or to stop. What behavior that needs to start, they find that out as well. And then they understand that there are consequences when their color is not on green. So my fourth tip is to lower your voice. Now, if students are being too chatty or if they're engaging in any unwanted behavior and I want to redirect them, then the only thing I'll do is I'll start to lower my voice. If I'm on the side of the classroom or on the side, I will go ahead and walk to the front of the classroom, start to talk in a lower tone or lower my voice, and then students will have to lower their voice or stop what they're doing in order to hear me. And this will cause them to redirect, to have their eyes on me, to focus and to listen to what it is I'm saying. So they must stop their negative behavior or their unwanted behavior to listen to me, to hear what I'm saying, so I can give them direction so we can move forward with our next lesson. So lowering your voice and not screaming over students is a great tip in order to mitigate those unwanted behaviors and to cause students to have to listen and give you their attention. So my fifth tip is to connect with students. All students want to feel like their teachers genuinely care about them, that their teacher genuinely likes them. And so when you connect with students and when they feel that you love them or that you like them and that you're genuinely concerned about them, this tends to cause their behavior towards you to be positive, and it causes them to want to be able to listen to you. They want to be able to please you. They stay engaged in learning and they stay engaged and give you all of their attention. So students want to feel that your classroom is a safe and healthy environment for them to learn in and for them to grow in. They want to be able to feel connected to you. They want to know that you actually feel connected to them and that you genuinely care about their well-being, that you genuinely care about them. once they feel this way, then they'll want to be able to feel safe around you, and they'll want to be able to give you their best as well. It's important to set your classroom expectations on the first day of school. Day one, set your expectations, and if those expectations change or if they grow, share those with your students and with your class as soon as possible, and set those expectations.